on the line. The nice thing about point slope form is you can have any point. It doesn't matter which one you pick. So slope intercept, you have to have a specific point to make it work right away. This one, you pick any point on that line and you can write the equation. So it says write an equation in point slope form for a line that passes through 3, -2 and has a slope of 1/4. The final answer needs to be in point slope form. Well, they give us a point and the slope. Bing, bing, bing. We can start right away with our slope intercept form. Write it down so you can memorize this. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 in parentheses. There's 3 pieces we need to fill in. Technically, there are 2 things, but m is always going to be your slope, and then x1, y1 will be your coordinates from your point. Okay? Easiest thing to do is to fill in your slope. Your slope is 1/4. So we know this is going to equal 1/4. All right, so we always write a y. We always write a minus sign. What's your y coordinate? -2 equals 1/4 we said was a slope, parenthesis. We always have an x. We always have a minus sign. What's your x coordinate? 3. There is one thing and one thing only you have to do this before you circle it. What is it? Very good. Subtracting a negative is really, so y plus 2 equals 1/4 times x minus 3. That is the equation of a line in point slope form. In point slope form. Try the next one on your own. Write an equation in point slope form for the line that passes through -2, 1 and has a slope of -6. Y minus 1 equals -6 parenthesis x minus -2. Can I circle that? No, the only simplifying you have to do is to make it so that it is x plus 2. You're like, okay, well, that's fine, but that's not the format they wanted it in yesterday. Remember that? Yesterday they said they wanted it in slope intercept form this off, so I don't understand how this can help me. What's nice about point slope form is it's super easy to plug into. And using your algebra background and your solving equations background, you can manipulate this math equation to make it whatever format you want, as long as you know the rules of that form. So y minus 1 equals -2/3 x minus 5 in, ding, 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 standard form. So they gave us the equation of a line clearly in point slope form because it has parentheses. Point slope form is the only form with parentheses. And they want us to use our background to write it in standard form. Now, what is the standard form equation of a line? AX plus BY equals C. And there were 3 rules here, right? What were those 3 rules? A has to be positive. AX and BY have to be on one side. C has to be on the other. A, B, and C have to be integers. So we're going to know we're written in standard form as soon as we hit all 3 of those rules. Okay, so let's use our math background. What do you think the very first thing is that we're going to have to do to manipulate this equation? We have to distribute. Very first thing is we cannot have parentheses. So we have to distribute -2/3 into our parentheses. Y minus 1 equals -2/3 times x is negative 2/3 x. Now, I sometimes off to the side have to show negative 2/3 times negative 5. What do you get? 10/3. Your negatives become positive. There is absolutely nothing to cancel, so you end up with a positive 10/3. So as soon as they want you to change point slope form, the very first thing you have to do is to distribute, because you can't have the parentheses. So now we got to continue to work with this to get ax plus by equals c. What do you think our next wisest choice would be? Tiffany? I would not. Carly? I would not. Tatum? Yeah, and plus we like to work with integers way better than we do fractions. Agreed? Now, technically, could you add 2/3 x, or could you add 1? Yes, you can. But one of the main rules is that you have to have integers, and before you're trying to combine anything with fractions, I'd get rid of your fraction, which we had talked about, by multiplying by your denominator. Now, make sure you multiply even your whole numbers by that denominator. What do you end up with? 3y minus 3 equals negative 2x plus 10. I always just, as soon as I can get rid of those fractions, let's do it. Now I'm going to go back. Question for you, Tatum, or Tiffany, sorry. Why do you want to add 2x? Okay, so why not subtract 3y? True, Julia? Bingo. A has to be positive anyway, right? The smartest choice for us would be to add 2x, because, yeah, it's going to get x and y on the same side, but it's also going to make a positive. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So now I end up with 2x plus 3y minus 3 equals 10. Is Carly's suggestion for her next step, before she said to add 1, really now we're going to, is that my best choice as my next step? Okay, so add 3 to both sides. 2x plus 3y equals 13. Anything else? Okay, double check your rules. A has to be positive. A and B are on one side, C is on the other, and everything's in integers. Bingo. That's your math background. Remember back in chapter 2 where we had to solve for a specific variable and you guys didn't really love it, but you didn't really hate it? Like it was like, okay. Here's why. That's manipulating an equation using your math skills. Okay? Some teachers don't even teach point slope. I like point slope. It's easy to plug into. And at most is going to come into play. Yesterday, you didn't really write anything in standard form, but you wrote a lot of things in slope intercept. Agreed? Okay, so how could I take y plus 6 equals negative 3 times x minus 4 and write it in slope intercept form? What's the first thing I need to do? I still need to distribute right away. Y plus 6 equals negative 3x plus 12. How would I get this into slope intercept form then after that? Subtract 6. Am I going to subtract 6 from negative 3x or from 12? 12. So I'd end up with y equals negative 3x plus 6. Then what should I do? Bingo. That is absolutely it. How do you know you're in slope intercept form? Y is by itself with a positive 1 coefficient. So let's think about something for a minute. Set your pencils down. Let's go back to this problem. This 36 from our online or from our homework from yesterday. If they gave us these 2 points, right? We're always going to have to calculate the slope first, which we know is 1/6. But I'm then going to plug it into point slope form. So I would say, let's stick with this guy even. Y minus 1 equals y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y minus 1 equals 1/6 times x minus 5/4. what is the first thing I would have to do? Distribute this, okay? Y minus 1 equals 1/6 x. Say it again. Negative 5/24. 20. Why? What am I doing here? Wow. Negative 5/24. How about that one? Okay. Then you could get rid of your fractions. This goes back to that. I'm adding 1, Miss Hoff. I know how to easily write 1 as a fraction, right? If I'm going to add 1 here as a common denominator, what's my common denominator? It'd be 24/24, yes? Y equals 1/6 x plus 19/24. That's a lot less work than the other way. Agreed? Even if you right here would have multiplied by 24. Y minus 1 equals 1/6 x minus 5/24 times 24 times 24 times 24 times 24. 24y minus 24 equals 4x minus 5. So you would add 24 here, right? 24y equals 4x plus 19. And then you would divide by 24, divide by 24, divide by 24. Y equals, this would reduce to be 1/6 and 19/24. Even that process was a heck of a lot less work than the other way, yes? So some of you are looking at this like, yeah, I'm never going to use point slope. I think you'll be in tune more to use it than you realize. Let's flip over to back one on the top. So this says write an equation in slope-intercept form if it passes through -2, 0 and a slope of -3/2. Now, the final answer needs to be in slope-intercept form. But they gave us a point and they gave us the slope. You know what form I'm going to start with? Point slope. I'm going to start with what they gave me. So point slope is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus 0 equals -3/2 times x minus -2, right? -2. One thing I need to take care of right away, it should really be addition. What else is something I could take care of right away? What's y minus 0? Y. So really this could be y equals -3/2 times x plus 2. Does that mean I'm in slope-intercept form? Well, y is by itself. Yeah, I have to distribute. I can't have my parentheses. So if I distribute, y equals -3/2 x, -3/2 times 2/1, be -6/2, which is -3. Done. Done. It's almost painful for me to teach you guys yesterday's because I know how good this is, but I don't think you appreciate how good this is until you have to grind through the other stuff. You know what I mean by that? Otherwise, you'd look at this and be like, oh, this kind of sucks. And be like, oh, you should have seen what you should have learned. Let's go all the way to the bottom. Given the equation y minus 5 equals 4/3 times x minus 3, find the slope of the line and the point it passes through. I know this equation is in point slope form because of the parentheses. So I want to know what's the slope of the line and what point did they use to write this equation? What's the easy one to pick? The slope. The slope is 4/3. Bingo. What's the point they use, Jacob? 3, 5? Not -3 and -5? Yes. In the original, it's y minus. So that minus sign actually gets left behind, and you're only taking out the 3. Okay, so what if I gave you this? Y minus 7 equals negative 2/3 times x plus 4. Carly? Is she right? Absolutely. Your point is the opposite of your equation. Does that make sense? In that equation, it looks like a positive 4 with your x, when actually it's a negative 4 in your plus 4 in there, but it's actually a minus 4. All right. Now, I told you originally earlier this week that I thought our equation was going to be next week. Then I realized yesterday that it really is going to be tomorrow. Okay? And everybody sends into a frenzy this morning. Their eyes got about this big. Like, we're going to have a quiz tomorrow and you're just telling about it now? It's a memorization quiz. So right now, get out a piece of paper. I'm going to give you all 10 answers that are on your quiz tomorrow. Just a piece of scratch paper, one sheet of notebook paper, and I'm going to give you the 10 answers that you need for your quiz tomorrow. This is your quiz right here. Not hiding it from you. This is exactly what your quiz is. It's going to be a half sheet of paper. You're going to come in tomorrow. We're going to correct your 4-3 book assignment. And then you're going to take this quiz. When you're done with the quiz, you're going to work on your online practice. The reason I want you to do this is if you don't know the forms of the equations and the rules that go along with them, this quiz is not going to go well. Agreed? Okay? So, there's 10 questions on here. We have to write the standard form, the 3 rules with it. We have to write the slope-intercept and the 2 rules with it. We have to write the point slope and the 2 rules with that. 10 lines. Ready? What's the standard form of the equation of a line? AX plus BY equals C. AX plus BY equals C. 3 rules. Jack. A must be positive. Rhiannon. A, B, and C must be integers. Okay, I'm going to write it as AX plus BY on one side, C on the other. I'll give you a minute to get that all written down. As of right now, you have 40% on your quiz. 4 out of 10. Do you have a question, or are you going to give me the next one?
No, I was going to ask a question. If we just did A plus B, like A and B on one side, would you like?
No. Now, if you just write A in the equation, A plus B equals C, yes, I will count it wrong. So like in the original equation, make sure you have X and Y on there. All right, you're at a 40%. Let's improve that. What's the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line? Y equals mx plus b. 2 important things you need to know. 1, m is slope. M is slope. And the second one? B is the y-intercept. B is the y-intercept. Ooh, we're even better now. Now we're at a 70%. Still not satisfied, though. Here's the new one from today. Point slope form. Y. Okay, make sure you have the ones in the correct spot. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. First thing you need to know, m is slope. M is slope. Okay, I'm going to write this one down. This is the most commonly missed piece on this. Majority of people get a 9 out of 10 because of this right here. You have to write x1, y1 in parentheses is a point on the line. A lot of people want to say are a points. No, it is one single point. X1, Y1 is a point on the line. That is the most commonly missed point on this. So how do you study? You repeat. You read it over and over and over and over. You get out a blank sheet of paper when you get to enrichment and you try to write those 10 down again. Tonight, you write them down again and have your parents check or have your parents ask and you repeat them. You are twice as likely to remember something that you write down than something you hear or say. Okay? Over and over and over and over. 10 easy points to start off quarter 2. Did you have a question?
Yeah, so for like when we do M is slope, could we just do like M slope?
Totally fine. Another question they asked is, do you have to have this one is A and this one is B? As long as you have all 3 of those rules or all 2, I don't care what order they're in. Now, if you go over here and write AX plus BY equals C, that's a problem, right? But as far as A and B go, I don't care what order you have those into. Tiffany.
Can we write for intercept IN?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Athian.
Does the B have to be capital for okay.
Nope. Okay. Study this. Study this. Study this. All right. Your homework is 4-3. 12 through 44 evens. 12 through 44 evens. 12 through 44. Grab paper, grab your book, or sorry, you don't have a book, your computers, and log in and get started.